Alright guys, welcome back to another video. Hope you're all having an amazing day so far. This is definitely one of my favorite waves that I've probably ever made for sure. A wave that I made countless times. I cannot tell you how many different Mola Rams and Indiana Joneses I've made, just because they are the two figures that really got me started making customs, playing the original adventures of Indiana Jones. Just, it's awesome. And I actually made two people, well actually never mind, three people for later on for that. But anyways, so we'll go ahead and start off with, of course, Indiana Jones. I don't know. I'm like so tempted to just switch out the hat for like the old Indiana Jones one, just because personally I think it looks better, which is probably just the nostalgia speaking. But yeah, this is, to be fair, one that's just supposed to look accurate. It's just a good paint job, honestly, or like, I don't know. I know the legs are ones that I made not recently, so they're definitely lacking, so try to ignore that. But yeah, the torso and the head, those are things that I actually did, and I really like how he turned out. He's not my favorite figure of this wave at all, not even close, but yeah, he's pretty good for what he is. So next is Willie Scott, probably the most annoying character in all of Indiana Jones. Definitely my least favorite love interest, but I don't know, that's probably just me. I don't know how I feel about the hair, in all honesty. I think I like the mold for it. I know, my friend didn't, so I think that's probably just comes down to personal preference. I think it represents her hair fairly well. And other than that, it's just a nice paint job, I guess. Kind of like Indiana Jones was. That's how most of these figures are. I kind of tried to keep them. I didn't want to sculpt on most of them as much as possible, So, yep, I used one of those overused. No, actually, that's a stormtrooper face, and I just kind of made the eyebrows a little bit lighter. And yeah, that's Willie. So next is Short Round. Honestly, I think he's probably my least favorite figure, just because I don't know. I'm just not a fan of him. I just used a basic kid face, and I do not know how to make a minifigure look Asian. I really don't. Shame on me for that, but I think he just looks like a girl almost, which is not what he's supposed to look like. I do actually like the facial expression though, he's always so upbeat. And other than that, I do like the paint job. I feel like it could have been a little bit better for sure, but this is honestly one of those figures that I was just trying to get finished as fast as possible, because yeah, I mean, I feel like you can't have a Temple of Doom wave without Short Round, but at the same time it would be like he's not one of my favorite, And that's gonna actually end all of our good guys for this video. Well, until the end, whenever we have a surprise for you. But yep, I have two Thuggies. I decided to make two just because, as you can probably see, it's a very basic design. I just sculpted the turbans just because I didn't want to use Lego's bulky turbans. And yeah, I gotta just use ninja masks. Now, originally I tried the look on the right, as you can see. Honestly, I don't like how it turned out. I really don't. I definitely like the one to the left, but let me know what you think. Now, they both actually have both of those faces, because originally that's what I did, but then I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go online and get some off-brand Ninjago masks, and yeah, that's what I did. I think they turn out really good for what they are. I'm so glad that I have two of them. I don't feel like it was totally necessary, and because of that, I actually have an extra figure that does not fit on my shelf, because, only 7 figures fit. But yeah. Now, this is the figure of this wave that Lego never did make, and I have it because of the original adventures of Indiana Jones. It is the Thuggy Occulti. I know, I don't know, I wanted to have one whenever I was younger, just because I thought that the design looked really cool, and Lego never made it. So I decided to. This one actually has a beanie for the turban instead, and I think that it looks good for what, for that specific style. It's really just a paint job, but I'm actually really happy. Also, it took forever to like find the skin color to match it. I don't know why, but it just took me so long. It's almost like an orangish tint, which I never really expected in a way. But yeah, that's the Thuggy Occulti. So I'm gonna save the best for last, but here is the Thuggy Slave Driver, or Chief Temple Guard. It really depends on what you get him in. You know, I know the video game calls him the Thuggy Slave Driver, but the action figure says Chief Temple Guard. So I don't know. Obviously, that being said, I have the action figure, and that's kind of what this is modeled off of. Once again, it is a sculpted turban. And I think that this figure looks really, really good. I'm actually really happy with how he turned out. I've made so many versions of this guy in the past, and of course, this is surprisingly the first version that actually has the right color of skin in general. But yeah. Alright, so this is honestly my favorite figure of the entire wave that's just like an accuracy figure. Obviously, it doesn't need any introduction. It's Mola Ram. And just a hack for making your Mola Rams in the future, if any of you want to try it. The 3.75 action figure, its headdress actually works perfect for the minifigure. That's what I have on it right now. And believe it or not, just for this video, and honestly because of the nostalgia behind it, I went out and bought a $60 minifigure just to compare it to. So here they are side by side. Honestly, I'm so happy that I finally have Mola Ram. It's definitely one of the figures that I wanted a lot whenever I was, you know, younger. And yeah, I think they I don't know, the old one is hard to beat just due to that nostalgia aspect. But yeah. So removing the headdress, just how to make this figure is pretty simple. I used, of course, paint, and actually just because of how the headdress sets on his head, it has kind of messed up the paint a little bit. But yeah, I used there we go. I used a just a piece of construction paper for that cloth that he has right there. I think it works for it, honestly. And then I used a flame piece. I did not bother with any like studs on it. I just kind of, you know, I don't know, I just kind of painted the bottom of it as if it was, you know, a bloody heart, and I think that it looks really, really good that way. And yeah, I don't know, I'm really happy with this figure. Like I said, it is most certainly my favorite in this aspect. However, the next three definitely, in my opinion, beat all of those combined. And here they are. It is Mola Ram, the Thuggy Slave Driver, and Indiana Jones Kali from the video game. Now, Mola Ram is kind of messed up, in all honesty. The horns have broke off just due to it being made much longer than the other figures, and I think it fell one day whenever I bumped into my display. And yeah, that and in the face, I used Sharpie to kind of give it that old figure look, and eventually over time it is smeared, hence why I don't like to use Sharpie. But yeah, I'm really happy with how Mola Ram turned out. I think that he looks pretty accurate compared to the video game version. And here are all three of my Mola Ram side by side. You have the original Adventures of Indiana Jones Mola Ram on the left. You have the Lego version in the middle, and then you have my version on the right. And honestly, I cannot decide which one I like most. I love I love all these figures, you know. But yes, okay, so now onto the Thuggy Slave Driver. Once again, very simple figure. I did just where you see the turban, it actually came. Now that is an off-brand turban. I'm not entirely sure what the Lego ones would look like because I spent $60 on that one Mola Ram figure. I did not feel like spending any more money on this. Because I looked in the other one, like this guy's Lego version is like $45, and then the Thuggy is like $50. It was insane. That was at Bricks and Minifigs, and it just seemed to be more expensive on eBay from what I saw. But yeah, I did have to put a little bit of clay in that little hole there so that there wouldn't be a massive gap. But I think he looks really good. I don't know, I don't really have any complaints about him. He's probably I don't know, it's in between him or Indiana Jones. And at the same time, like, this technically goes against everything that like I stand for as a customizer, you know. I don't like to use Lego parts and mix them in with my customs, with an exception of the faces and like different molds. But even with the molds, I like to like paint over them, you know. Maybe the occasional hairpiece, I don't know, it just depends. But like as far as printing goes, I generally don't like to use it, but at the same time, it was literally perfectly accurate to the Lego video game. So this one's a little bit beat up. Maybe in the future I will get or find one of my better conditioned ones. But yeah, his legs are, I did not make those, and I think that that's fine in this particular case. And then I did actually paint that entire body. I think it looks really awesome. Now I do actually have a Indiana Jones face that I could use from back then. However, I did want to paint my own up there, kind of recreating one of his scenes or kind of like that smirk that he has in most of the video games. I don't know. I like how it turned out, but I'd love to hear your opinions. And yeah, that is the Indiana Jones wave. This wave certainly has a lot of minifigures, as you can see right now, so I would definitely appreciate liking and subscribing. It means the world because I'm not paying for bots or anything like that. So yeah, I don't know. Let me know your favorite figure, and I made this wave because of nostalgia. I don't really have much inspiration to make any other waves, but at the same time, part of me is saying that I probably should, just because like, what's the point of having one Indiana Jones wave, and whenever there are like, you know, so many more that I could make, and it would just look awesome. So yeah, comment down below if you think that I should make more Indiana Jones waves. And yeah. And last but certainly not least, this is my new custom Darth Malgus. Yeah, I'm almost done with the Star Wars wave. I'm just waiting for a few parts to come in. My Dark Side Star Wars wave is basically done though. And yes, so definitely consider liking and subscribing if you want to see that. I think that I'm just so happy with how they've all turned out, and I cannot wait to put that on YouTube. But yeah, I hope you all have an amazing rest of the day, and I'll catch you on the next one, hopefully.